And it was after these happenings that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, became ill. And his illness was very serious until no soul was left within him. And she said to Elijah, "What is there between me and you, man of God, that you have come to me to cause my sins to be remembered and to kill my son?" And he said to her, "Give me your son." And she took him from her bosom, and she brought him up to the upstairs chamber where he was living, and he lay him on his bed. And he called to Yudhe and said, "O Yudhe, my God, also on the widow with whom I am sojourning have you brought evil to kill her son." And he prostrated himself on the body 3 times. Important. And he called to Yudhe and said, "O Yudhe, my God, restore please the soul of this child within him." And the Lord, Yudhe, hearkened to the voice of Elijah, and the child's soul returned within him, and he lived. And Elijah took the child, and he brought him down from the upstairs chamber to the house, and he gave him to his mother. And Elijah said, "See, your son is alive." And the woman said to Elijah, "Now I know that you are a man of God, and the word of this time, Yud He Vav He, that is in your mouth is true." You have a Phoenician woman who worships Melkot as a Baal, now saying that no, this other Baal of Elijah is indeed true. What is going on here? Mr. David is asking, so the demonstration or the battle started here, not at the altar with the fire. 100%. It starts from here and then it goes all the way. But this is where it starts from. He enters into the city. It's like Mr. David, what's his name? Ryu coming for Ken. Don't pay me any mind. See, so this is where it starts. This is where it starts. What is going on here? What would this, let me rephrase that. The woman knows Baal. The woman really knows, or she would know, understand what Baal does, Baal's capability. But it seems her Baal is not able to, but Elijah's Baal is doing that. What is going on here? Let me explain. By going to Phoenicia, Elijah demonstrates Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh's power over death by bringing the woman's or the widow's son back to life. This is a contrast from Baal of Ugarit and other places in Phoenicia, who has to, part of the year, go into the kingdom of death, Mut. Part of the year he goes there, and you have to wait for that time of the year, and then he will rise later. This concept is described in the cycle, Baal and death.
Doesn't it bring back, is anyone thinking about Yeshua
The
right
speed
now?
limit is 30 miles per hour.
I'm seeing attachments to the story of Jesus and what you're teaching now.
You're correct. You're correct. It's going to be developed even further. Because Yeshua is also seen as a storm deity. He speaks to the storm. He walks on the water. Okay.
Don't now, Rabbi.
He
Why you do
dies.
that?
Yeah,
Why,
he
why,
dies. Yeah, he dies. He dies yet
he dies
lives,
and come
right?
back. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah,
gosh.
the
Oh my
upper
gosh.
chamber, right? What's going on with
Correct.
that upper chamber, Rabbi?
See, it's going to be developed. You don't want to miss the series on the book of Revelation, because I don't start from Revelation. I start from where you have to start from the prophets. So, if you know the cycle of Baal and death, this would make sense. The woman would have to wait for that time where Baal would have to descend underneath the earth into the kingdom of death. He has to defeat death and then come up. He does this periodically, part of the year. Elijah is demonstrating that he doesn't have to. Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh doesn't have to wait for a particular time in the year to do these things. I mean, calls him 3 times. Prostrates 3 times over him, calls him, boom, back from the dead, demonstrating his authority over death. Of course, the Phoenician Baal also dominates death, but his doesn't seem that powerful compared to that of the Baal of Elijah.
And then they shoot that confirmation in. Now I know.
Correct.
Now I know. I've been rocking this way this whole time, but now I
Yes.
see. Oh
Now
man.
he knows that, yes, the Lord is truth, because he did that instantly. So the battle ensues and the battle is going on. Now we come to.
I mean,
Yes, go ahead.
I was going to
Go
say,
ahead,
you
Mama.
even have the 3 Baals. Yeah, you even have the 3 Baals, and I was thinking about the 3 Magi. This is incredible stuff. That's all I got to say.
Now the battle goes on. Now we come to Mount Carmel. And Elijah drew near to all the people and said, "Until when are you hopping between 2 ideas? If Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh is God, go after him. And if the Baal, the Phoenician one, go after him." And the people did not answer him a word. They didn't pay him any attention. Like, come on, get out of here. And Elijah spoke to the people. "I have remained a prophet to Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh by myself, and the prophets of the Baal are 450 men. And let them give us 2 bulls, and let them choose 1 bull for themselves, and cut it up, and place it on the wood. But fire they shall not put." Well, one of the attributes of a storm god is fire. So don't put fire on it yourself. "And I will prepare 1 bull, and I will put it on the wood, and fire will I not place. And you will call in the name of your deity, and I will call in the name of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. And it will be the God that will answer with fire, because both of them are capable of answering with fire, because they are both Baals, storm deities. He is God." And all the people answered and said, "The thing is good." Why is it good? You're not asking Baal to become El. No, you're asking Baal to do what we believe he does. We know what happened. They tried, nothing happens. It's Elijah's that I want to focus on. And Elijah said to all the people, "Come near to me." And all the people came near to him. And he repaired the torn down altar of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. So they had torn down the altar of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. Okay. Elijah took 12 stones, corresponding to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob. To him the word of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh came, saying, "Israel shall be your name." Let me pause here and comment on this. If this is happening after their own rights, there is no united monarchy here. So, to say that he took 12 stones because of the 12 tribes is anachronistic. Somebody's added that later. No, just mentioning it. Okay, let's go on. He built the stones into an altar in the name of Yudhe-Vavhe, and he made a trench as great as would contain 2 seah of seed around the altar. And he arranged the wood, and he cut up the bull and placed it upon the wood. And he said, "Fill me 4 pitchers of water, and pour them on the burnt offering and on the wood." And he said, "Repeat it." And they repeated it. And he said, "Do it a third time." And they did it a third time. And the water went around the altar, and also the trench he filled with water. Most pastors preach and say that what he's doing is he's soaking the bull so that it is difficult for it to light on fire. Is that what he's doing? That's not what he's doing. That's not what he's doing. How would you explain what he's doing? Uh, the person speaking, we can hear you. It's just some screeching noise. Okay, I'll repeat the question again. Elijah soaked the offering, the meat, the cut up bull, in so much water. And I'm saying that traditionally it's been interpreted as he is drenching the meat in water so that it will be more difficult for it to be lit up. But that is not the case. What is he doing?
Rabbi, does it have anything to do with the fact that the water is a part that comes from a storm? So storm and
Correct.
water and fire?
Yeah, he's invoking the deity. He's not filling it so that it wouldn't burn. No. This storm god is known for fire and water. So he's not wetting it so that it wouldn't burn. No, he's invoking the storm deity. He says, fill it with water. You see what will happen when the storm deity comes. In the text, it's clearly there. So in his ritual to invoke Yud-He-Vav-He, he says, pour water on this thing. Soak it. We are about to call the storm deity. He's the master of rain. Okay, so they soak it. And now it was when the evening sacrifice was offered that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Yud-He-Vav-He, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, today let it be known that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and at your word at your word have I done all these things. Answer me, O Yud-He-Vav-He. Answer me, and this people shall know that you are Yud-He-Vav-He, God, and you have turned their hearts backwards. What happens? He invokes the storm deity, and we are told, and the fire of Yud-He-Vav-He fell and consumed the burnt offerings, and the wood, and the stones, and the earth, and the place that we don't read, and the water which was in the trench it licked up. Why do I have to know that he drank the water? I'll ask again.
I think that's because I don't know, but I think that this is also some of that anamorphic
Correct.
stuff that I was talking about, giving him those human characteristics types things. And Rabbi, I never read this verse like that before. It says it licked up, and licking
Yeah.
is a human thing. You understand?
Correct. He's
Um,
drinking like he's
wow,
drinking, making
like an
everything else.
offering, like it was
Correct.
an offering. Wow.
Yeah. It was like you pour libation and you ask the deities to come and drink. He says pour water. He makes a hole, fills it with water. He's not filling it so that it will prevent or it will demonstrate that, you know, it was soaked so it couldn't burn. No, that's not a test at all. It's going to burn. But what happens? It's not only burning, it's licking up the water, it's drinking it up, demonstrating his dominance. Baal had to fight the sea before it took dominance over El.
Yeah, I
So
was just about to
anybody
say.
standing there sees what's happening. Another Baal is doing the same thing.
Hey, Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
because it almost seemed like, you know what I'm saying, the deity was like his pet. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can just call on him anytime. Come here.
Correct.
Like, come here, get him. Go on, did that. Like you said, his dominance, it just crazy. I ain't never see it like that neither. Like,
And that's also kind of like the same thing with like Joshua like spoke and commanded him to make the sun stand still, or however that works. You understand what I'm saying? It's a similar situation, like calling on the deity to do your bidding for you type thing.
Correct. You see the rituals that the other Baal's prophets had to go through and do all that. He just pour water. He loves water. He's not only burning, he's going to dominate. He's going to lick up all the water. He says, just keep pouring the water on it. That's the ritual that
Yeah,
he's.
and Rabbi, I'm seeing something additional here also. And you started it earlier, and one of my questions was, how is it that Baal did not, Yuhei had not fought Yam, the sea. Remember we had this discussion. And
Correct.
so 2 or 3 times during this presentation, you have shown Yuhei dominating water, the sea, Yam, right?
Correct.
And so, and when we know what that means. So thank you very much for that clarification. I truly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Rabbi. Just trying to draw a mental picture of what the scene that was described and the events that took place, right? So we're
Yes.
saying that Elijah built the altar, cut up the bull, put him on the altar, pour water all over the bull and the altar all around, but the fire came down and burned up the sacrifice, and then Yahweh went over, grabbed the cup, and started drinking the rest of the water that's up. Is that what we're
No,
dealing with? Because
no.
the only reason why I said that is because when the phrase "and he licked up the water," to me that's like a literary term trying to describe how fierce or how hot the fire was. So the fire was just so great, it just came down and consumed everything and dried up the water that's inside there as well. But from what I'm
Correct.
understanding, that's not it.
No, no, no. That's it. But it's bigger than that. So the water was not in a cup. He had a trench,
Yeah, no, I
like a.
understand that part. So you're saying
Okay.
Yah went over and drank out the trench?
Yes. So he hit the fireball, hit the hit the altar, burns the meat, burns
Right.
the stone, burns the earth, gets into the trenches, and dries up the water. The author explains it as he licked, like he drank it, because water doesn't dry up. Sorry, fire doesn't dry up water. He
Oh,
goes
okay,
and
okay, okay.
he
So
dominates,
David,
like conquers the
so,
whole thing.
yeah, so
Go ahead.
Yeah,
David,
because
like,
we use fire, water to put out fire.
Yeah, nah, it's just the term, and he licked up the water. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
so
it's just
don't
that
look
term
at it
right
like don't look at it like he was sitting down with a cup. Look at it like the fire was his tongue. The fire was his tongue. If you look at it like that, I think it'll pull you into a different situation. The fire that came down was his tongue, and that is what licked up the situation, not
there. Yeah, but
him a
I see what
presence.
the issue is though. But you can't use fire. You know what I mean? Like, you can't use direct
No,
fire
no,
to put out water.
listen. The men we are on the line with are telling you that you cannot use fire to lick up water, but you and I have both got a wet pot and put it on the stove and heard the water burning. So you have to take into consideration what the men on the line are saying and what you also know about life. If you look at it like his tongue was fire, then yes, he licked it up.
And
And
one,
I'm saying something way more bigger than that. I'm
Me too.
sitting here and I'm saying he's dominating the water. He's owning. He's controlling.
And I'm
He's
thinking
it.
that's a part. I think that's a part of what I'm saying also. In his dominance, in his control over these other elements, in his dominion over these other powers, he
It's even
licked
better than
them
that,
up.
CJ. It's over the other god or goddesses because you got to remember,
That's what I'm saying.
creation. Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah, this is
saying.
huge.
The water is a god, right? Yam or whatever, right?
yep,
He licked
yep,
them up.
Yes.
He licked them up.
Right. If we just
And
think about it like an
you could
anime
even
movie too.
you could
Just think
you could
anime.
even take it like throwing punches. You know how somebody take lick? He licked them up.
I
yep,
looked at it as though he just consumed everything, which showed his
everything.
dominance. Eat
Yep,
and
That's
which is
licking them
I
up.
just
When you beat somebody
and
in
I
a
make
fight,
it to like today's statement as though he dropped the mic. I mean, seriously,
yeah,
he just
yeah, beautiful,
consumed it all.
beautiful.
I consume it. I take
Yes,
back what is mine because I am water. I am God of water. I am. That's who I am. So I'm going to
yeah,
consume what I am, take it back, and everything over it. And then, like I said, I just made it as though in today's word, that's him dropping the mic. It's over.
yep,
Yeah,
beautiful,
he's taking the
beautiful.
attributes. He's taking on attributes of other gods and goddesses. I'm just sitting here like I never read it that way, Rabbi. I'm not even kidding you. But wow, thank you.
Right? Because there is like a God of everything, a God of the earth, a God that, you know what I'm saying, provides
Correct.
this, provide that, you know what I'm saying?
Yep,
So all of
the
those
wood, the
elements,
stone.
I see what she's saying is like in that little cycle of things, the earth, the water, like he said, the fire, you know what I'm saying? And through all of that, the meat, the animals, you know what I'm saying? The meat that you eat, everything. He dominated everything, consumed everything. That's hot.
Yep, the offering, the wood, the stone, the earth, and then he goes to the trenches and dries that up too.
You know what, Rebe, what I'm seeing that's even more so is um, the danger of direct preaching. Whereas I saw it just like everybody else saw it in the past, what the preacher said, the water and the way it was delivered in church. And that's the way it was pushed out. And so
Right.
you wouldn't conceive it any other way, probably, other than the way it's preached out, not giving facts and
True.
allowing us to draw certain conclusions. It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Mr.
Thanks.
Marvis is coming in hot. That's true. He'll say, "Hey, duck, everybody duck, because he's coming." And that's what happens. So in chapters 18, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh's superiority over Baal is confirmed. with a competition on Mount Carmel between Elijah and the prophet Baal. And I think, let me confirm that. The name Elijah means that he's a man of Yah. That's what his name means. Yah is my deity. That's what he means. Yah. So he could be historical. He could be maybe a literal, creation, but that's what his name means. So here in chapters 18, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh's superiority over Baal is confirmed with a competition on Mount Carmel between Elijah and the prophet Baal. So he first deals with Baal in private, in their homes. Now he's come public to deal with Baal. Okay. Despite their passionate rituals, the God of the prophets does not answer. Elijah mockingly wonders if the God they are worshiping is asleep and needs to be woken up. Now, let me comment on that statement. The reason why that is stated is because we have evidence, but the evidence is late. It's a bit late. So maybe um, I don't know. I don't know how to decipher it, but it's too late. It's almost in the 4th century. We are here maybe in the 9th century, 9th, 8th century. But there was a source that says that Melkut, there's a ritual that had to be done for Melkut to actually be awakened. So this is the statement here saying that why is the person sleeping, your deity is sleeping, and needs to be woken up, because there is evidence that but the evidence is late. It's very late. So, but I highlighted that so that I can comment on it. So he's mocking them, asking whether that their Baal needs to be woken up. And on the other hand, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh sends fire from heaven to consume his offering and licked up the water. This story was written to illustrate that Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh is the real Baal. Remember Baal and his dominance over water, capable of controlling water and fire, the two elements most often associated with Baal, the Baal of Ugarit, the one that everybody would say he is the ultimate Baal. Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh is demonstrating that, hey, you guys slept on me. He's got next. So that's what he's doing here. And then this story ends with a mass execution of the prophets of Baal, preceding the Yahwistic revolt under Jehu. So this is the struggle between these two deities. It doesn't stop there. Elijah is going to do more demonstrations. What do we read?